Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. Today, I'm going to try to get the mini split stand that goes right there, get it made and installed. Got quite the mess out here in the wood shop. I've been installing ductwork. If you haven't seen that, I would go watch that video over at Trapdoor. But for today, we're going to be doing some woodworking on Planet Mojo. I need to find a 4x4. I know I bought one, but I'm not quite sure where it is. I got a 4x4x8 and a few other things. Here's the drawing. The 4x4 gets cut in half and we'll have 3-4 feet underground, well, about 3 feet, and then I have 1x8s and 2x8s and 2x4s, and I have all the hardware over there. Shouldn't take too gosh awful long to do this, and then we can start digging the holes. We have to dig 2 holes about 3 feet down. Doesn't sound like a whole lot to do, but it's going to be kind of difficult where we're doing it, so that could take longer than building the stand itself, but we'll see. Okay, let me find that stuff and I'll get back to you when I have everything all in one place. I found the 4x4 right away. It was sitting in the corner back here, but it was right next to the dehumidifier, and it was pretty wet because it was new, and look what happened to it. What I think I'm going to do is, instead of splitting this in half, I'm just going to use 3-foot chunks, and I'm going to bevel this top at 5 degrees. The top, if it's left flat, when water goes through here, it's going to sit right on that end grain. I'm going to double treat the end grain anyways, but I would like that water to roll off. So I'm going to cut I'm actually going to cut a 6-foot chunk and then cut the tops at 5-degree bevels. I did not find this other wood, but I have various stuff laying all around, and actually I got this right here. This is probably enough for the whole thing. Just have to split that up. That's kind of bowed though. We'll find it. Let's get this one cut and then we'll worry about that later. It is so nice to be able to plug things in right near where they are, and soon I won't have to even do that. Okay, so we got the legs cut and we got the bevels at the top, so there's a little bit of drainage. The top is held up by these arms right here, not the top of these legs, so that is going to be just fine. I went and found some treated wood. This is actually really nice stuff right here, but that's a 2x10, and I really don't want to waste a 2x10 on this. This is not in all that great a shape. Well, it's in fine shape. It just has a lot of knots and little checks and a big check on the back, but none of that is really going to make any difference. So what I'm going to do is probably cut it here and here for one part, and then here and here for another part, and then we'll see if we can get those arms out of here too. Those, where is the dimension on them? 13 7/8 by 3 1/2. Those are designed to be made out of 2x4 material. Actually, I probably won't even bother trying to get those out of here. I have treated 2x4 chunks all over the place, and I'll be able to find 2 short ones that are completely clean. So let's get those 2 pieces out of here, put this back, and find some 2x4 material. I forgot that I had this out here. This is a 2x12, and it has that split going down the entire board. I was going to use this for that 2x4 material. Just cut 3.5 here, 3.5 here, and well, I could actually get 2 out of each of them. So that will make good use of this, which is pretty darn clear, except for those knots. I can probably get one here and one there, and otherwise this isn't good for anything else except for this kind of stuff. Okay, I got that 2x12 cut up. Can you tell? And this is what I got out of it. Not much. Well, I still have the other half over there, but I had to cut around knots and all that stuff. So now I just got this decorative notch at the bottom of each one. I just measured down 2 inches, and I'll come in with the miter saw right at that line and cut a 45 on either one of them. Then, I'm trying to remember how I did this last time. I did not have a bevel on the top, so what I'll do is mark where the bottom is going to be and then line it up to that, get everything in line. I'll drill the holes through this piece first and then go through the 4x4, and then we'll get these attached together, and then I can install the tops. I do have to round all these parts. These, because I just cut them so they're all square edged, and I don't want square edges on this. And this 4x4, I'm really surprised that it didn't come with rounded edges like most dimensional lumber does, but it didn't. So I'll have to round this too. That is going to make a lot of sawdust. I had this place nice and clean, but that doesn't last very long. Soon I'll have this dust collection system completely set up, and I won't have to deal with big messes like this anymore. There's always sawdust in a wood shop, but not like that and not like that. Okay, let's get those corners beveled. I'm gonna do a quick lunch, and then we'll get back at this and mark for those 2 bolts and get her drilled up. Okay, I was working on this and I kind of forgot to film, but I went to lunch and I was thinking about drilling the holes. I need to drill through right there and right there, all the way through this, and that's a total of 5 inches. These are 5-inch bits. So what you got to do is drill through this and then get the mark on here and then drill through that. And doing that, it's going to be really, really hard to get this hole through straight. I think on the last one, you know, it was off at maybe a 1 or 2 degree angle, but that could be a 1/4 inch on the other side. So it'll look nice on this side, but it'll be all mangled up, and the bolts or the washers will be at an angle and all that stuff. So I thought to myself, when I was doing my last big cleanup, I uncovered this extension cord. This is from when I was working on putting the cutter head in the jointer back before any of this stuff was here. I had the building, but no insulation, no wall over there, no ceiling, no nothing. I just had my electrical box laying on the floor over in the corner, but I had 220 electricity. So I made that extension cord and had it going into that tent. I was working in a tent with a little heater and it was below 0, which is why I had the tent. But anyways, that's what I powered up my jointer with. I needed to test that and make sure that it worked, as well as check the cutter head. But this is what I was thinking. Just set up the drill press. Why the heck do you have it over there when you could actually be using it now that we have all this electricity set up? If you haven't seen that, it's on the woodworking channel. All of these outlets are live now, including the one for the dust collector. I'm going to be checking that motor in another video fairly soon. I'm going to do a little more work on this first. I don't want to start it up with just a bunch of open pipes here. I want it so everything's closed off a bit more so the motor doesn't free spin. But if you watch on Trapdoor Woodworks, you'll see the video on that. But anyways, we have a drill press. So what I'll do is I'm going to drill, what is that, 13 30-seconds, just a little bit oversized holes through this, and then I'll get it exactly where it needs to be and tap to get that point into here, and then I'll drill exact 3/8 inch holes through this, and that should give us what I need. And then I have all these lines on here. I'm going to route this. I'm going to stop right here, and the same thing on this, and we'll get this all routed up, and then we'll assemble it, and then we can start working on the top sections. This drill press has been sitting in unheated storage. Well, it's been in either unheated storage, or even when it was set up, it was in an unheated garage. So it's been in a bad place for quite some time. And the reason that it's much better to use a drill press, for those of you who don't work wood, is because it drills at 90 degrees to the surface, so the holes go straight through. Okay, I got my holes drilled, but these do not go all the way through because the drill press only has a 3 1/4 inch stroke. I could lower it down into the hole and then adjust it and do all that stuff, but it's a lot easier to just take a hand drill, chuck that up in a hand drill, and finish the holes off that way. Now that I have 3 1/4 inches of hole in there, there's no way it's going to wander around. It's just going to go straight through. So let's get that done, and then we will put a 1/4 inch bit in our tiny little router there and start routing those edges. Okay, I got my legs 100% machined. I'm not sure if you'll be able to see this or not, but the holes are perfect. Now, I'm going to take this out to my mobile bench out there and get it sanded. Then I'll run the bolts through these, get these connected, and we'll start on the top sections. Those are going to go fairly quick. Okay. I still have hardware to put on there. These get put on after the unit gets put on the stand, and these hanger bolts, these go on the back. These get screwed on, and then the unit gets lifted onto that, and we got nuts and washers and stuff for that as well. Last time I used only lag screws, and it was insanely hard to get the back on. What I did last time was just went by the hole pattern in the PDF, and it just shows where the 4 holes are, but it didn't show that the back holes were an actual hole and the front holes were a slat. So you can set it onto the back and then drop it down onto the front. So there it is. We'll get that hardware on it in the next video, mount the unit, and run the lines. We'll get everything set up, and then in one final video, I'm going to recharge the unit. All of the gas is out of the unit that I'm going to install, so I'm going to purge it and recharge it and then fire it up. So if you want to see those videos, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.